Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Deep Thoughts. And today, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Golden Wind, episode 31, Green Day and Oasis, part 2. Let's go ahead and dive into the episode now. As always, we are going to go from the top of the episode to the bottom with all of my thoughts, but I gotta say, the last shot of the episode, I'm gonna have some opinions on it by the end, or rather some thoughts, some deep thoughts, if you will. But yeah, no, we're gonna start at the beginning, we're gonna work our way towards the end. Needless to say, I'm excited. But let's just start at the beginning. So Sekko, or as I'm going to call him, Sekiro, because the game has been everywhere, and every time they say Sekko, for some reason, all I think of is Sekiro. But he feels sort of like the cross between Smeagol and Giacchio. He's apparently also a beast. That was a little surprising. Well, it's not so much that he's physically a beast, although he is quite fast and he's quite strong, but it's mostly because he's using his stand to his advantage, which I do think was actually kind of a neat twist, given what we've seen Oasis do. It sort of makes sense. It's sort of like, I guess, similar to Spice Girl, where it's like bouncy, but instead he just uses, he turns like the ground into liquid and then uses it to rocket his arms and legs forward, so he's wicked fast and wicked strong. So that was, I don't know, I just thought that was a neat twist on Oasis, and it threw me off because I had to restart, because like there's a scene where he actually shouts like Oasis, but like he says like Oasis, so it threw me off because I was like, okay, he's clearly saying Oasis, but the subtitles say Sanctuary, which again, like I get why they do that, but it threw me off for a second because I'm like, wait, why did he scream Sanctuary? Because when he said Sanctuary, all I could think of was Sanctuary. I mean, that would have been still funny regardless, but like, yeah, no, I thought that was a little confusing. Yeah, the name changes to protect from copyright. I get why it's being done, but it still kind of throws me off at times because I'm like, why would he say that? That's weird. Oh, he meant Oasis. Okay, so this next point I wrote down, I never really mentioned this, or if I did, I don't remember, but the track that plays when Mista and Giorno reach the top of the roof, and also during the Giorno versus Cioccolata stand battle, there's this song that plays that I swear sounds like a track straight out of Danganronpa. Like, it sounds like a track that would play like as you're as you're trying to put the mystery together, like during like the class trial. It sounds like a song that would be in one of the class trials. Now, I don't know why it makes me think of that. It just does. Not that it hurts this, because honestly, a stand battle does kind of feel like trying to solve a mystery half the time. You're trying to outwit and outthink, and that is on lock in this stand battle. Like, this is one of the most tense stand battles in a while, but again, we'll get to it. I gotta tell you too, like, not only was the stand battle like intense in terms of like trying to outthink the other, but also tense in just the fact that it was pretty brutal. Like, number 2 and number 3 just friggin' flat out die. And I was like, I was watching it going like, did they just kill number 2 and number 3? Holy cow. But like, of course, I thought that, but the wording makes it seem like they're just like they got destroyed, quote unquote, and that maybe they can be fixed. Like, because number 1 and number 5 say that they're gonna try to go and get them so that they can maybe be healed and fix Mista. I'm not super sure. I hope they're not dead. I like the fact that Sex Pistols is like a 6-part team. It feels sort of weird if only like number 5 was around from now on. I'd get it, but at the same I don't know, it would just break my heart. I gotta say though, number 5 is the best boy of part 5, because my goodness, just the sweetest, unluckiest of them all. Like, although in this case, the man is incredibly lucky. Every time something happens in 4s, it just kind of makes me chuckle, given that it's like, no, number 4 is the unlucky number. I'm like, are you sure about that? Because I swear, every time something happens in the show, whatever happens in terms of 4s typically ends up saving Mista as opposed to hurting him. It does cause pain sometimes, but yeah, because number 5 is really number 4, but they didn't want to have him as number 4, so he's number 5. But it just sort of, I don't know, number 5, he has like the character arc that I'm most invested in. I'm most invested in the character of a stand. Like, that should show how insanely bizarre part 5 is. Just the fact that I'm most invested in a stand. Not most invested, but I am so invested into a stand that I'm genuinely interested where its character arc is going. But did anybody else think that Mista was gonna die there? Like, when Mista has the line of like, number 5, go with Giorno. Like, I actually thought, like, number 5 was gonna, like, die trying to save Giorno, and then in turn, Mista would die because his stands, plural, were dead. That, like, for a second, I'm like, are we gonna lose Mista too? Like, has part 5 not taken enough from us? My goodness. Everything about that fight, actually, the more I think about it, everything about the Green Day versus Gold Experience fight is so good, because when you think about it, right, like, not just the strategy is GOAT, not just the personal involvement is GOAT, not just the brutality is GOAT, but the fact that, like, the animation's also just on point. Everything about this fight was on point. Even the friggin', and the key word of the day here is bizarre turn, where Cioccolata's just like, oh no, I'm a doctor, so I know exactly where to amputate my arms, and then use Green Day to fill in whatever I cut off with mold so that I don't bleed out. And it's like, huh? Like, just so gross. Everything about Cioccolata is gross. From the top to the bottom to top, I stop at the corner forgotten. I don't know where, I don't know why I started singing Linkin Park, but, like, everything about Cioccolata is creepy and weird. But man, just what a friggin' intense battle. Like just from Cioccolata, like, cackling when he thinks that he's got Giorno down, and screaming about how he wants to see Giorno in despair as Giorno falls and, like, looks like he's gonna be taken over by the mold from Green Day. It like, the laugh was like a mix of, like, the laugh reminded me of the Joker, the talk of despair reminded me of Junko. So it just makes me think that Cioccolata is secretly the love child of Junko Enoshima and the Joker, which, by the way, a lot of Danganronpa thoughts today. I don't know why I'm thinking about Danganronpa so much. Give me another game. Anyway, geez, this is the most rambly review I've done so far, but I gotta say, this episode, the star player of the week, without a doubt, is Giorno. Not just because he took down Cioccolata, which in and of itself is a feat, but the fact that we see the most, like this is what I wanted to see from Giorno, right? Because Giorno is a JoJo the likes of which we've never seen before, because he is a Joestar. However, he's also a Brando. He is the child of Dio in the body of Jonathan. Strange. But I wanted to see what the mix of those two would be. And we definitely see when we see both in this episode in ways that just made me smile. Like, we get an homage to "Your next line is" from Joseph in the form of "That's what you're thinking, isn't it?" Like, because Giorno just, like, reads Cioccolata like a book. Like, when he has the, like, I know exactly what you're thinking. What you're thinking is, and then he lays out Cioccolata's plan, and he goes, "That's what you're thinking, isn't it?" And it's like, oh shit, that had to have been a reference to "Your next line is." So we got that. Then we got the mix of Dio that I wanted to see. Of the JoJo's, I'd say that Giorno, in my mind, should be the most, I don't want to say psychotic, but the most cruel, right? Like, the most vicious, because he's got that Dio Brando side to him. And he has that line. Mind you, Cioccolata's, he's just pure evil. So, like, Giorno being cruel to Cioccolata doesn't, it doesn't really take away from his, like, humanity. But I like that he lets that shine in this moment. Like, against pure evil, Giorno's willing to play dirty. Like, when he says, like, "But you said that you'd leave me alone if I didn't move." And he's like, "Oh, please, did you really think you'd be that lucky for trash like you?" And it's like, oh, Giorno! And not only do we get the Giorno moment, like the proud, I finally got to see from Giorno what I've wanted to see from him the whole show. Not only that, but we get the glorious mix of the Joestar and Brando bloodlines, when instead of it's muda 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 muda, and it's such a rate that, like, I remember people saying, like, dude, get ready, because there's, like, a stand cry, the likes of which you've never seen in the last video. And, yep, that lived up to it big time. Not only did we get muda 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 muda, like, for, like, what felt like 2 solid minutes. Like, I know it had to have only been maybe, like, a minute of screen time, but it felt like Steely Dan levels of long. And then it, like, in the middle of the muda 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 barrage, we get a Uri! Oh my god, I never realized I wanted to hear Giorno shout Ri until I saw it here. Uri. I realize anyone outside, anyone listening to this must think I'm losing my mind, which I kind of am. That's the whole point of JoJo's, but like, wow. But the big thing, in fact, possibly no, I don't want to say the biggest thing. The biggest thing was Giorno. Giorno is the star, like the star player of the week. But did I just see Jean-Pierre Polnareff? That had to be Polnareff. That has to be Polnareff. Like, there's no way that's not, like, because at first I was like, maybe it's Polnareff's kid, but that doesn't make any sense because, like, this is still taking place, like shortly after part 4, so he shouldn't even have a kid unless he had an illegitimate kid in part 3, but there's no way. That has to be Polnareff. I remember seeing a while ago, like a long time ago, I remember seeing something about Polnareff, or at least like what I assumed was a character who looked like Polnareff in like this video where it was like somebody like before part 5 was announced as being animated. It was like a long time ago. Somebody did like a fan animation and it looked like Polnareff was there. But I just figured like maybe it's like a different, because it looked different enough and the artist, God love him, like it just didn't quite look like JoJo anyway. So I was like, maybe it's like a totally different character. But seeing the earrings, like, no, that's Polnareff. So I kind of wish I never saw that, because part of me was just like, oh, it's Polnareff. Oh, wait, yeah, no, I should have known, actually, because I think I've seen stuff with him in part 5, like material. So, like, I'm still shocked. I'm still shooketh, but I could have been more shooketh. And it does make sense for it to be Polnareff, because we did get, like, when they explained where stands come from, we see the silhouettes of part 3's Stardust Crusaders. So if we saw the Crusaders, it only makes sense that we see yet another Crusader here. It has to be Polnareff. I'm so excited for next week. I'm so excited. All right, everybody. So those are going to be my quick thoughts on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Golden Wind, episode 31, Green Day and Oasis Part 2. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did enjoy today's video, then by all means hitting that like button and sharing the video around on the internet. That would be super rad of you. And hey, if you'd like to stick around, check out more videos from me, then by all means go ahead and hit that subscribe button, ring that bell to join the good ones. And before we go, as always, I have to give a big shout out to the good folks over on Patreon, especially those in the Earl Grey tier, starting with Omner Garamond, Veridin, Tristan, No For Nothing, Urza, Evil, Caden Fate, Gabriel, Dominic, Sipco Games, Opinionated Slime, and Maria Teresa. Big thanks to everyone over on Patreon, and if you would like to help me out, then by all means go ahead and check out the first link in the description. It'll take you over to our Patreon, check out the rewards over there, join the T Squadron. It would be super appreciated. Thank you guys once again for checking out today's video, and until our next meeting, stay rad and don't scary.